Are you a fix and flip real estate investor struggling to make your numbers work in 2025? It may be time for a transition in your business, and I'm going to give you 4 reasons that it might be time for you to transition from fix and flipper to new construction builder and developer. Hey, I'm Blake Anderson with Envision Investor Solutions. I'm a builder and developer, and like you, I was a fix and flipper once, but we made that transition a few years ago, and I'll tell you why it could be the best decision that you make this year. A couple years ago, I was probably just like you. We fixed and flipped homes and sold them. We bought homes, rehabbed them, and kept for rentals. And we had done hundreds of projects. We got really good at what we did. We had bought lipstick renovations all the way up to full guts. But we kept noticing that our construction costs just continued to creep. We weren't able to get projects done as fast or as cheap as what we used to. And we didn't know if it was maybe the construction costs were going up, was it building materials, or was it the sellers were just getting greedy? But things started getting hard. And that's when we started looking for another tool in our toolkit. And for us, it wasn't wholesaling, it was new construction. And that might be the next thing for you in your real estate journey, that you make that transition from rehabber to builder. You see, this property behind me is a new construction property that's gonna be built and sold. And it'll be done in a timeline not a whole lot longer than what it took us to do the large rehabs. And it may be something that it's time for you to explore, that you make that transition from fixing and flipping to building. The second reason that you may need to transition from fix and flipper to new construction builder is probably one you've never considered. Is it possible that your rehabs are getting nicer than they should? That they're nicer than they've ever been, and maybe that's holding you back from continuing to be successful? Tell me if this sounds familiar. Do you feel like construction costs just continue to creep up and are higher than they've ever been? Does it feel like the sellers just aren't giving you the deals that they used to? See, we had the same experience. When we were rehabbing those hundreds of homes, what I noticed was our product was getting nicer and getting nicer and getting nicer. And it meant our construction costs just kept creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And the better that we got at what we were doing, we had longer checklists. And yes, the product was better, but it took us so much longer to get to the finish line. And before we know it, our profit margins were eroded in higher construction costs, higher holding costs, and longer timelines. But when we made the switch to new construction builder, everything was changed. You see, those checklists that we were using to become better rehabs, that's exactly what's needed to be a good new construction builder. In new construction, everything is brand new and everything is nice, and it's brand new from the beginning. You're not having cost overruns because you've only fixed half the house and realize you're gonna have to fix the other half. Is it possible that you've just become too good at what you do to be successful at rehabbing anymore? If you feel like that could be the case, then it's time to make the transition to new construction builder or land developer. You know, another reason you might transition from being a fix and flipper to a new construction builder is that new construction is scalable. And I'm sure that you know by now, fix and flips just aren't. There's no normal set of building plans. The plan exists in your head, and you have to be on site to make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to, because there's no way to communicate effectively that plan. That's super fun in the beginning. You've done your first few, you get to be a part of that creative process, see the walls come down, tell everybody how it's put together, but you're not gonna scale that way. You're gonna hit a ceiling really quick if you're just doing fix and flips. But when you move to new construction, it's scalable. There's a set of blueprints everyone can read. There's a couple hundred people that come together and need very little of your time to know exactly what they do, because it's all in a set of plans. The process is sequential and it's repeatable. And you do 1 or 2 of these and the houses almost start to build themselves. It's a completely different game when you move from fix and flip to new construction. The fourth and final reason that we made the transition from fix and flipper to builder and developer is its predictability. When you buy an old house like the one that sits behind me, you never know what you're gonna find when you open up those walls, when you open up that floor. Are you gonna find a flooded crawl space? Are you gonna find termite damage that you didn't expect? How deep are the footers? And what is your exposure to the elements on the outside? When you build new construction, it's predictable. You know what you're gonna have on the back end. You know what the costs are gonna be through construction. And there's less things hiding in hidden places that you can't anticipate. The other part about this predictability is when you build a new construction property to hold as a rental long-term, it takes a whole lot less capital expenditures. You don't have water heaters that you're replacing, you don't have windows that are failing, you don't have roofs that are leaking. Everything is brand new. So many investors are calling us because they are making the transition from fix and flipper, buy and hold, to build to rent and new construction. I love to share with you how you can make that transition as well. So those are the 4 primary reasons that we made that transition a few years ago from fix and flipper to builder and developer. And I'll tell you what, it's been a game changer for our business. Our scale has gone through the roof. The predictability in our business has added so much confidence in what we do. I have such a greater level of confidence when I look at a deal to know what my numbers will be on the back end and whether this is a project that will work for me, because I don't have the risks, the exposure, and the vulnerability that we have in rehabs. We started finding it easier to find a lot that we can build on than a house than we could rehab. So whether you're just looking for another tool in your toolkit, or maybe you've come to this realization that your quality is just too good for the houses that you're used to buying, or you're looking for scalability, it might be time that you take your business to the next level, that you want to make it more scalable and a real business on autopilot where you bring more people in that you can transfer those duties to. Or maybe you're looking for something more predictable. You've gotten burned on some bad projects. New construction could be the next fit for your business. If this is something that you're interested in, hit like and subscribe. I can give you more details on what it will take to make that transition in your business. And maybe you're afraid of how do you evaluate a piece of land? How do I know when a deal is something that I should buy? There's a link in the description below. I'd love to give you my free land evaluation checklist. This will help give you every step that you need to go through to make sure that the deal you're looking at is the deal that you should purchase. And if you want to understand the 4-pillar framework to becoming a new construction builder and land developer, watch this video we've created. It's a 16-minute masterclass on how to start building new construction and developing land.